Okay, kia ora everybody. Welcome back to podcast number 32 of Baskets of Knowledge. Tane, welcome back. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
Awesome. So, as always, what have you put into your baskets of knowledge since we last spoke?
I think it's just resetting and focusing on what Grace mentioned as a takeaway message, and just doing the things you enjoy, not sacrificing the things you enjoy just because you're busy or swamped under. And I think that really relates with now that we're starting to get assignments and university is starting to ramp up a bit again. It's just making sure I do find the time to go play social sport or go for a walk or just find some time to actually do something for me instead of doing everything for everyone else and not actually focusing on myself.
Yeah, and that's very true. Those little messages there, because it's so easy for us to hear that, but to actually put into practice is the next level. So put into practice is pretty key. But awareness is where it all starts from, which links into my learning, I guess. I heard a saying the other day that everyone's perception is their reality. We always talk about perception as reality, and we're like, oh, change your perception. But everyone in their perception is living in their reality. And for their perception to shift, they have to shift their reality. And which is a really hard thing to do sometimes, because, when you're living in the echo chamber of your perceptions, all that you're going to see is your reality. So to make that disruptive change, it's pretty hard, but it should be done. Which is why I think it's awesome to listen to lots of different things, speak to different people that are going to challenge the status quo. And I think, we see that in today's world, where if you don't agree with something, you are actually not okay. You just get cancelled, or you're like, don't talk to me. And I think the world is a pretty sad place when that happens, because we grow when we disagree in a nice way, not when we start fighting. Okay, we'll keep that a different way. Awesome. And I think that's a great place for us to start, because when we talk about perception, I think our next guest is going to even talk about perception, how it's changed his life a bit as he's gone through where he's gone through. As always, we like to introduce our fantastic guests, and as always, I think I'm really privileged to meet some amazing human beings, and once again, I'm really privileged to meet our next guest. Dhananjay, welcome to the podcast.
Kia ora everyone, I'm Dhananjay, and yeah, Prajesh, I'm really excited for this podcast. It's my first podcast, so I'm super hyped.
Awesome. It's going to be a first of many, I reckon. Dhananjay, do you want to tell our listeners a bit about yourself? So what are you doing now, and just a bit about who you are, and then we'll get into our chat, I guess.
Sweet. So kia ora everyone, I'm Dhananjay, and I'm a second year university student at the University of Auckland. I'm doing medicine this year. And just in my spare time, I like doing a lot of drawing and art, and listening to Snoop Dogg's music recently. And I love listening to podcasts like Mike Tyson's podcast and Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, Snoop Dogg, eh? Tell us about Snoop Dogg. What happened recently? How did you pick that up recently?
So with Snoop Dogg, I picked him up last year. I just found that his music, especially his album Doggy Style, right? It just, when I listened to it, I just felt like I didn't care about anything. It just really got me in the zone, and it got me really motivated, and it kind of just, relaxed my mind a bit. Just the album Doggy Style. I don't know about the other albums, just Doggy Style. It was just so like pure, and just made me feel like, oh, I don't give a shit. So like every single day, I'm not joking, but I listened to it every single day last year. I think on Spotify, I was just like top 0.01% listeners or something. Just so random. I just found him on Spotify once. I just kept listening to him. I don't know. I just felt real relaxed. And it kind of like put me in a different world, because we're in that world of, that high pressure studying grind mindset. But listening to Snoop Dogg's music, it really helped me like switch off a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I value his music a lot.
Awesome. And it's really cool that you found that, and I think for perspective for our listeners, Dhananjay said he's in second year med, but it's been a long journey to get to the stage here. And we'll come back to that in a second. So Snoop Dogg, Jerry, Mike Tyson. So it sounds like you have these awesome people that you listen to. So let's talk about second year med. This is where you're at the moment. But let's flick right back. When you were at school, what is the goal? So you were at Hutt Valley High School in Wellington. Your goal was to get into med school. That from when I first met you. So you decided to leave home. Why did you decide? Why was medicine something you wanted to do? I guess first of all.
So in high school, my mindset was that because I enjoy a lot of science, and I enjoyed just talking to a lot of people and just volunteering, like doing mediation with students, and just interacting with students or just like volunteering at the hospice. I really enjoyed that. So I thought that studying medicine could be a nice integration between learning science and also interacting with people. So that was my thinking back then. And that's why I picked medicine back then. And for Otago, why I picked Otago was I always wanted to go down to the South Island. It looked really like clean and green. And my mindset was always just Otago, Otago, Otago.
Yeah.
And that's why I went to Otago. And yeah, it was really nice to meet you in year 12, then see you again in year 13. And yeah, we're still friends.
Exactly. Crazy how that happened. And I like what you said, because our previous podcast also, the guest spoke about enjoying sciences. There seems to be a natural progression to go and do med school at that point in time. And obviously the mindset changed as they were studying the program. So it was, like I said, it's my privilege to have met you at that point in time in year 12. And then so you've landed in Dunedin. Let's talk about health life first year. What is that like for you? Oh, can I go back? Was there any parental or family pressure for this decision making for you?
Family pressure, not really there, because like I was really good at drawing as well. So my parents were like, you can pick, do you want to go towards medicine or do you want to do something that's more artsy, maybe like architecture? So there's like, just pick one of those. But I knew that there was always that if I did pick medicine, my mom would be like really happy. I didn't know that she did want that. But they still they're like, nah, we'll give you a choice. But I knew that they would be really happy.
Yeah.
But personally, I picked the science route because when I was doing arts, I felt that art's something that I do because I enjoy.
Yeah.
And I don't want to associate that with stress and study.
Yeah.
Because that's my escape from stress and study. So I don't want to go to university and do architecture or a course where I'm associating my art, my creativity with study or stress or a job or grades.
Yeah.
So that's why I picked the science and medicine route and didn't pick the architecture route because I can draw in my spare time, and I do, and I enjoy it a lot. And it's like a meditation for me. So yeah.
And that's so true, because a lot of people that I meet say to me they want to do art or music and want to study that. And my question for them is always, do you want that to be, do you want to do it because you want to get a career out of it, or do you want it because you just enjoy it? And there's the big difference that, like you said, you enjoy art, and once you start making it your profession, you'll stop enjoying it. Well, you will enjoy it, but you are not doing it at your own terms. You're doing it at someone else's terms. So it's really awesome that you had that awareness at that point in time. And mom was happy because you're like, oh, off you go. There we go. So you spoke about medicine, but it was a journey for you to get to medicine. So you went to health life first year. Let's talk about health life first year. What is that like for you? Living year 13, everything's structured. You're good as your sciences. You had a goal, and you did health life first year, which is a bit of a beast.
Yes, health science first year, it was a beast.
Yep. And why was it a beast? Why was it a beast? Do you want to tell our listeners?
It was just something that personally I wasn't used to. I didn't expect. It kind of just hit me like a truck. It's like, oh shoot, like we're in the real world now, and this is how it works. High school was nothing. They've given us no skills in high school that prepare you for this course. And yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like a truck hit me.
Yeah, truck hit you. Tana, what did you feel when you left school and your peers that might do health life first? Did they say the same thing to you about it feeling like a truck?
Yep, especially in the first couple of weeks, and then leading up to that first progress test. Everyone's so stressed about getting 100% because they have this perception that there's so much competition, and I think that compounds on itself. The competition talk starts so early that by the time you get to your test, it's just built on top of that competition.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, which is very true. It's a reality, right? So I'm going to start calling you DJ because that's how I know you as. So DJ, you're there, you health life first year, strolling along, you get knocked by a train. Okay, what happens then? So obviously you get up, but what is it like for you going through that?
What was it like? It just felt like something wasn't right. Something was wrong. That's what it felt like. Every day was just going really quick. And I felt that I wasn't really in the moment. Yeah. Everything was just sort of happening. And I was like, something's wrong, but I can't figure out what it is. Yeah. But it was just happening.
Yeah.
And if I reflect back on it now, I think back then with my mindset, maybe I don't really believe that it was going to work out. even externally, I was really like happy and like really just like, passionate. Maybe internally, I wasn't too sure about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because amongst even so that you have this health side trainers that's taking you for a ride, but also you've left home. You have to all the social peers and social norms. How
Mhm.
was that for you? Because obviously, like it's like Tanya mentioned before, when you're doing such a competitive course, you have all these people around you that seem to be, I'm going to use the word seem because everything is external, right? That seem to be thriving and pushing it. What is that like for you? Because here you are, you're outwardly all right, cool, but internally like, oh, maybe not.
Socially, I just remember like landing in Dunedin the first day and just like stepping into a runner, stepping out onto the street. I just felt awesome. I just felt really free. And I remember a week, I just enjoyed it so much. I forgot all about home. I was just having a lot of fun and it just felt, yeah, very free and very exciting.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that I really enjoy going to new places.
Yeah.
It was just a huge dopamine hit, just being in like a new environment, new place, new things to explore, new streets, new trees, and the beautiful like clock tower.
Yeah.
And I feel that I was quite lucky. It wasn't very competitive with my friend group and just who we hung out with in Arana and stuff. So it was actually pretty cool. It was actually all good. I didn't really feel the competition personally.
Which is great, which is great, and that again is testament to your outlook as well. I think some people go into the program expecting the competition, and then that's how they find the competition. But if you go into any program, I guess, going, hey, I'm here to enjoy and to learn this, the competition won't be there, even though it might be there, but it won't be in your face. You want to really see it. So you're doing health first year. The goal is to get into med school. So you were on a high. You were thriving. This is a new place. Was there any challenges that that you went through in the first year that tested your belief in yourself that you can remember?
Challenges that tested my belief in myself.
Yeah.
I just remember like a week before the exams, like a week or like 10 days before the exams. I just felt like I was like, oh nah, I've started studying too late for the exams. I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah.
And I remember calling my mom. I was like, oh mom, I don't think I'm gonna make it because I started studying too late. If I reflect back on it now, that's how everyone's feeling. In health side, everyone's out of time. And you can't think that you're the only one that started studying for the exams 3 weeks before the exam or 2 weeks before the exams, when everyone's feeling that pressure. And when I reflect back on it now, I should have just thought that, yes, I'm not the only one feeling this pressure. Everyone's feeling that pressure. But it's those people who in that moment can overcome that pressure and be like, no, even though that there's 3 weeks left, I can still do this. I'll just try my best and I'll get there. Whereas now that I think about it, I think back then I thought that, oh, I'm done. It's not going to work, and go into that negative mindset.
Yeah. Which is quite crazy because I think that happens across every exam situation. Tanya, I'm pretty sure you would have felt the same thing, whether it's a competitive course or not. You never feel like depending on your mindset, you never feel like you're ready.
No, it's definitely a hard balance to find because on the one hand, if you start studying too early, you get a couple of days before the exam and you've gone over everything. So in a sense, you don't want to keep studying it because it's all there. But if you start too late, you run the risk of feeling like you haven't looked over everything, feeling like you haven't put enough time in. And so it's really trying to find what works for you. But I find also in that exam period to actually find time, like linking back to the start, finding time to do things you enjoy. Because around exam time, you think all I need to do is study. I need to put everything else aside if this is where it counts. But sometimes, when you procrastinate, sometimes that's your brain just being like, I need a break. I can't keep doing this. I need to go and do something. And I think that's something that people need to take into those stressful situations.
Yeah, and also like you said, DJ, is to just do your best. Like you said, you've got to just go, right, cool. I've got to this point here. All I can just give my best. And if my best is 51%, cool. My best is 99%, that's cool, but I just have to give my best.
Yeah, and now that I like reflect back on it to my first year, I think it's like really important to recognize that not everyone, because everyone's different, right? Some people, they're ready for that pressure and they can overcome that pressure at that moment when you feel like giving up. or when you start doubting yourself. But there will be some people like me who can't handle that pressure, who do fall into a negative mindset. And that's okay, because the university journey, right? It's all about, a growth mindset, growing and getting better. And yeah, that will happen in the future, like it did for me.
Yeah, awesome. So you wrote your exams, you did the best that you could, you applied for your programs. What happened then? So you applied for so for those of our listeners out there at the university, you apply for 5 professional programs if you try and get into them, which are med school, dental school, pharmacy first year, med labs are the ones that are professional after health side first year. So DJ, you applied. What happened?
So yeah, I applied for all of them. Didn't get medicine, but I got pharmacy and I think some other ones. But yeah, I was never really too keen for those ones. Yeah, because I always wanted to be in that clinical environment in the hospital, interacting with patients. So I was like, okay, didn't get into medicine, didn't work out. Let's try again. Let's go through the postgrad or the graduate pathway.
Yeah. So what is your emotion the day you got the not accepted? So let's just be real. So obviously you've done the best that you can. You still have your hopes and your aspirations. You get the letter or the email that says, sorry, no med school, but you got the other 2, but your heart was in med school. What does that feel like you emotionally?
Emotionally. So pretty much after like my UMAT and just my first sem grades, I had a feeling that, I'm not going to make it. But the day I realized that I'm not going to make it was probably after the UMAT. It's UCAT now, but it used to be UMAT. Just one moment I can just remember would be like, I was just like lying down at night. My window was open and I could just see the stars. And I was just like, damn it, man. Like, why did I stuff first time up? Why did I stuff the exams up? So just thinking about it, like, why did I do this? Like, oh man, I stuffed it up. Like, I really messed it up. That's what I was feeling. That's what I was thinking. You
were just beating yourself up about it, right? You were just trying to say, what if?
Yeah, what if I did this? What if I did this? So like, yeah.
So now you had this. Well, I guess you're now given a choice of accepting the professional programs that you're offered or not. You chose not to do that. So this started a different journey for you now. And let's talk about that journey because, you've done some pretty cool things in that journey there. So you picked, what did you decide to do instead?
So I decided to do a bachelor's of biomedical science, majoring in functional human biology. So they had a lot of really cool anatomy and physiology papers.
Yeah, awesome. So apart from studying, what else did you get involved in? So now the pressure changes for you. Now you go, right, cool, there's not that much pressure. What did that mean for you in your growth as a young person at university?
Mm-hmm. So to be honest, when I started that graduate pathway, I didn't, even though, so yeah, of course we had more time now because you're doing the graduate pathway, you're doing a B Biomed Sci, it's not that health side pressure. So I was like, okay, we've got a lot of time now. So I use that extra time. I don't use it really that productively. I just use that to just hang out with friends and just have a good time with them, hang out in the flat with my flatmates, watch TV, do some cooking. So yeah, that's what I did.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You just decided, right, cool, your connection is important to you. So you're like, right, cool, I'm going to grind. I'm going to do my work with my biomed and I'm going to come back and I'm just going to chill while you are at home. So how long was the journey? How long was that?
So the B Biomed Sci, so through the graduate pathway, that was a 2-year journey.
Okay. So you did your health first year, you did 2 more years. And during those 2 years, what was your driver? So you had a goal. What kept you motivated? Because it's quite easy. 2 years is a long time. Although I describe it as health first year is it's a sprint, a long sprint. You've got to keep going. Whereas the postgrad pathway, you've got to have a bit of it, and you have a driver at the health first because you can see the goal here. But let's be honest, we're all humans. If you don't see the goal right in front of you, it's very easy for us to go, what is your fire in the biomed side? Yes.
Honestly, so if I be really honest, in the second year, I sort of maybe I think I did maybe forgot about medicine a little bit, and I started really focusing on just the physiology and anatomy side of things. I really started enjoying the papers and enjoying what I was studying, And that was my driver at that point. It was just to learn more. I actually did forget about my goal of medicine, and I just wanted to learn and just hang out with friends and just, yeah, just live and learn. That was my driver at that point.
And that's so wonderful. That's so beautiful, because I think a lot of us, when we keep chasing the learning for something else as opposed to just learning for the enjoyment of learning, we just forget it. And which is quite beautiful, because you're like, I just want to learn, and you started enjoying what you're learning.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you're enjoying the learning, and then so tell us about the learning. So your physiology.
Yeah, so a lot of anatomy,
Yeah,
neuroanatomy, and just neurophysiology,
yeah,
and just, yeah, learning about the brain. I was like, wow, that's like so cool. Like some of the lecturers, and oh my god, like I just love going to lectures and like learning about the lecturer's journey and like how much
yeah,
passion they have. Like them researchers,
yeah,
like, you know, they put their whole like life's like work, they summarize it for you. And I'm just like, man, like this person, he's like been on such a big journey. He's put in countless hours in the labs. Like it's, yeah, it's really beautiful. And I was really enjoying that in second year.
awesome. Cool. And Tana, I'm guessing you feel the same with your lecturers as well when you see their passion.
Yeah, it's awesome to see it come through, because then you feel passionate about what you're doing and you can see where it can take you, or where, if you are interested in research, you can take it further than just in the classroom. And I think that's where you start to apply it outside of the lectures, like that's where you find your passion and you can apply it to things, not just in that 15-minute period, but outside of that.
Yeah. So second year, you're like, cool. Hey, maybe I'll become a lecturer, and then this then actually.
Yeah, that did come into mind. I was like, damn, that would be actually really cool. And yeah, if
Yeah.
I'd be really honest, even in second year, that really grind, I'll get into medicine, I'll do whatever it takes to get in mindset, it wasn't really there for me. If I
Yep.
reflect back on it now, I feel like I was just distracted by a lot of other things, just like hanging out with friends. And yeah, I really did not forget about the goal, but it got the priorities, I had that
Changed.
mixed up a little
Yeah.
bit.
And I guess and I guess that's important. That's very healthy, because if you had kept the mid goal in your front of mind, your whole experience would be totally different. You would just be grinding for the grades. You wouldn't be enjoying time with your friends. You'd be feeling a bit guilty. So, on reflection, you're right, cool, but that's probably what you needed at that point in time. Probably,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, definitely. But it did impact the grades a little bit in second year.
yeah.
So yeah.
It's an
But I
effective.
did bring it back third year. I
Okay,
did
yeah,
bring it
cool.
back third
So
year.
so second year you were like, cool, this is amazing. And then third year, what's switched for you in your third year?
Third year, what switched for me was, it might have been my trip to India.
Yeah, let's
So
talk
when I
about
went
that.
to,
Yeah, so when did you go to India? In between your second year, third year?
yeah, so on after my exam, my last exam, it was
Yeah.
like a genetics exam. And the next day after the exam, I was on a flight to India.
Oh wow.
It was crazy. We went for a wedding and just going
What,
back
what,
to India.
so is it going back? So when was the last time you were in India?
So the last time I was in India would be January 2020, early January.
Okay. So no, sorry, before your trip, before
Or
your
before that trip
yeah,
would
yeah.
be, yeah, 4 years ago.
Oh well,
Yeah.
okay. So things obviously change. You were now
Yeah.
you were now going as an adult as
Yeah,
opposed
you're
to
going
a high
as an
school.
adult.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And what is that like for you as a what is that experience like? Because for those of you that haven't been to India before, India is a the way I describe India is it is an assault on your senses.
Oh,
So all your senses. When I say assault, I mean in a
yeah.
good way. You just get it all. So what is that like for you now going back again?
Yeah, it is an assault on your senses. It's like it's really stimulating.
Yeah.
There's always a stimulus around. Something's always happening.
Yeah.
In the morning, in the night, something's always happening. But the biggest impact on me would be just seeing family. Because when you're living in New Zealand for like 4 years, you kind of forget about your family in India,
Yeah.
or like you don't think about them that much. And then like when you go there, you get so much love, and you're like, damn, there's this many people that still think about me and still like love me, even though I haven't seen them in 4 years. And I was like, damn. And I really forgot about them.
Yeah.
Not forgot about them, but like you don't think about them when you're like in New Zealand, following a routine, just grinding every day. And I was like, damn, like these people care so much about me, but I haven't really been thinking about them or been communicating with them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
I can be. I am going to put my hand and say I'm guilty of that as well. My family live in Africa, and you get, like you said, you get so fixed in your routine of, work, study, this, that, and that you forget about actually there's a whole plethora of people out there that live in another part of the world that are thinking about you and are caring about you.
Exactly.
And it's only when you go back you get grounded again. And it's quite sad that both had to go back for that to be reminded. It's a crazy part of humanity, which goes back to what Tane said in our previous podcast, that just being appreciative of stuff that we have, which is important. So you were there, you saw all these people that really loved you and were caring for you, and you had all this assault in your senses, and that was your switch, you say.
That was the beginning of the switch, the beginning of the change in mindset, the beginning, like the realization that there are things that deserve more priority, such as family, and things that are good for you, things that make you happy, things that people that care for you, like unconditionally, they love you. And that's when the switch happened of prioritizing other things that are like less, like maybe like drama or anything. So just realizing that this stuff is just insignificant. Drama or like any negativity, it's insignificant compared to just family and how much they love you. And that made me like really think about my priorities a little bit of like what matters most. And things like drama or like negative thoughts, they have a big impact on you. But when you like jump on a helicopter and like look at everything from a distance, you're like, wow, this is impacting like me so much, but it's not important. It doesn't matter. What matters is family and what they make you feel, and that just unconditional love, like that's what matters most. So that made me think about my priorities, like what do I want to prioritize, and other things that I should not prioritize, like drama and just negativity. And even though that they can have a big impact on me, I need to realize that no, this doesn't matter. This is just an atom, really small, just really something really insignificant compared to just other things.
And that's really beautifully put there, because like you said, I mean, all of us live through our lives where there's drama and negativity all around us, and we make that into our mainstay, and that becomes our focus. Exactly. And then we forget about the actual stuff that actually really matters. And for you that was family. And so you're in India, you're having this amazing experience, and then you start having this realization, and then you come back to New Zealand. Now let's talk about how your priorities shifted in terms of when you came back now.
So my priorities did shift, and I started focusing on just what I was doing, what I was studying, and just myself a little bit more. And I really did that begun, the grind mindset begun, taking studying a lot more seriously, and doing a bit more study, but also hanging out with friends, going to the gym. But I did start prioritizing my study a bit more. And so with the medicine like goal, it really like just like came back. And when it came back, right, it came back in anatomy. When we dissected a human arm. So when we dissected a human arm in anatomy, I was just like, whoa, like every single like cadaver's arm is different. They've got different muscle attachments. The blood vessels go through different parts of the muscle. No arm is the same. And it looks so different to the textbook. And I started getting back into that, medical way of thinking and that medicine mindset. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like just cutting through the tissue is amazing. It's beautiful. The human body is beautiful. And especially in neurophysiology, I was like, the brain is amazing as well. The brain's like a whole universe. There's like so much to explore and so much that we don't know about. And that I really started enjoying that and just focusing on things that I was passionate about.
That was your trigger point there, cutting up an arm. You're like, cutting up an arm, and this is it. And it's crazy how the trigger points come through, right? It could be anyway. For you, it was the moment that you were cutting an arm, right? Or some other person, it might be seeing a family member sick. For some member, it might be going to a lawyer and seeing how a lawyer helps. It's those moments that just swing you to think about why you want to do something. And it's not about at high school, I like sciences, so therefore I should become
exactly
a doctor. Now you're switching. Actually, it's not about sciences, it's about the fascination here of what you're learning.
And the switch is beginning. So like you can't just like switch instantly, but it's starting. It's
Yeah.
starting now. This is when it started.
Yeah. So once it started, then talk us through what happened then. So you had this moment, this switch turning now.
Yeah, switches are turning now, and I realized that I want this year to be the best I've done. I want it to be like the best year that I've like in my university journey. I wanted to bring that confidence back into me that, you know what, I can do it. I can get into medicine.
Yeah.
So that was my focus on just doing the best I could, like truly do.
Yeah. So now you got your grind on. Now you're like, right, cool. Now I've got a goal. When I say the grind, I'm not talking about the health side grind. It's a different kind of grind because your mental model has changed dramatically.
Yeah.
So you gave that a crack. You finished your third year, and during your third year, you applied.
Yeah. So we do our best, give my best grades I've gotten in Sem 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, we give it a crack for the second time. So so we apply for graduate entry. And it still doesn't work out because I did stuff up the UCAT.
Yeah.
And I know why I stuffed up the UCAT.
Yeah.
It was that mindset thing, which was transitioning to a more positive mindset, but it hadn't happened before.
Yeah.
And when I reflect back on this in the third year, I was in that transition of that growth mindset and positive mindset.
Yeah.
And my priorities were transitioning to shifting to more important things. But there'd be episodes where you'd like switch back to the more negative mindset, negative way of thinking, and just prioritizing other things in life, like some drama and stuff. But I was still really happy, even though I didn't make it in. I was happy that I got my best grades in Sem 2.
Yeah. And that's really important for you to mention, because I think lots of people think that your mindset is a fixed state. You're either positive or negative, but it's transitional all the time, and depending on what the situation is. Sometimes you could be in a very positive situation, but you have a negative feeling because X, Y, Z. You could be in a very negative situation, have a positive feeling X, Y, Z. But it transitions, right? It transitions. And like you said, it's not a switch. You can't just wake up in the morning and go, "I'm going to be positive now, and therefore everything should be okay."
Yeah,
that doesn't work, right? That doesn't work at all.
100%. Like, even if someone's listening, you can't just like listen to a podcast and switch your mindset like straight away. It does take time. Yeah. But if you can switch it right away, that's awesome. But for me personally, it took time.
Yeah, I think for most of us it does take time. It does take time. But also it takes time because you have to change your habits.
Yes.
Like you said, you can listen to a podcast. It's fantastic. The analogy I use with mindset is, for example, doing a press up. You can watch 500 million videos on YouTube about press ups, but until you do your first press up, you're not going to change. Same thing with mindset. You can listen to 500,000 podcasts and you can hear all these motivational things, but unless you start putting those practices to your life consistently, you're not going. There's going to be no change. So it's awesome that you mentioned that. So here you go. So you didn't get into med school again, but hey, you're happy. And that was really important that you were happy. But that wasn't you like. But that didn't stop you. What happened then? You're like, okay, cool. I'm happy, but I still have a vision.
Yeah, I still have a vision that I want to get into medicine. And this vision, this got boosted hundies boosted. It got boosted into space when, so I was thinking about doing honors, right?
Yeah.
So I went to Wellington Hospital to talk to like an honor supervisor.
Yeah. And
then he took me to the catheter lab where they were so what were they doing? I think they were revascularizing one of the coronary arteries. So they were just like opening it up. So like what happens is the arteries, they can get blocked, occluded, and what they do in the lab is they open the arteries to like restore blood flow back to the heart. So I just saw this medical image of a heart that's beating, and then my supervisor, he's like, "Oh yeah, look over here, see how it's like, occluded, blocked," and then just like a couple of seconds later, you kind of see it opening up, because that's what the surgeons are doing through the catheter. I don't know how the method works, but I just saw like an artery that was blocked. Now it's dilated again, and the person's blood flow to the heart is restored. And I was just like, what? Like how much influence you can have on someone's health, like directly with your hands.
Yeah.
And that got me really excited.
And I guess you mean positive influence.
Yeah, positive influence.
Yeah.
And that got me super duper, very excited. And I was like, you know what? This is what I want to do. And I'm going to get there. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get there. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. That's when I realized that I don't care. I'll do anything to live and breathe in this environment. I want to work in this environment. I want to work in the hospital. I want to be the surgeon that's interacting with human tissues with their own hands.
Oh, that was your moment. That was your pin drop moment.
That was my moment. But there's also a roadblock. And I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, what's
the roadblock was, right? So I went to ask Otago. I was like, oh, medicine's not going to work out. I'm thinking of doing honors.
Yeah.
And okay, I'll be very honest. Some of the Ask Otago people don't really know what they're doing, especially with like health sci first year in medicine. They don't know how the UCAT works. Well, from my experience, the person I talked to doesn't know how the UCAT works, doesn't know how graduate entry works. So like he helped me like work out like a GPA. Oh no, they emailed me the wrong GPA calculation or something.
Yeah.
And I was under the impression that I can do honors and still have a comparative GPA to apply through postgrad entry.
Yeah.
But then later I realized that, wait, this email they've sent me, this is wrong. They said it was something like the multipliers. They sent me the wrong multipliers. I was like, yeah, this is wrong. So I emailed them back and they're like, yeah, sorry, we made a mistake. So, and then I realized that, damn, even if I get like a A+ in honors, get like a 9, I don't really have a big chance of getting into Otago medicine. It's like a really low chance. So I was like, that's all good. Can't do honors. All good. I won't do honors. I'll go to Auckland and try their first year pathway again with a new mindset. Yeah. So that's what I picked, going to Auckland and just doing their first year pathway again. So I wanted to attempt entry into medicine for a third time.
Yeah. And now for our listeners to listen to that. So DJ has gone through 3 years, he's learned all the stuff here, and now he's realized his dream and he wants to go, okay, cool. I'm actually going to go backwards to go forwards.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And how was that for you? I mean, you had the pin drop moment to go, right, cool, I want to do this. Did you ever second guess yourself? Did anyone second guess and go, what the hell are you doing? Why are you going backwards?
Yes. This is probably the first time parents second guessed.
Yeah.
They're like, this is the first time they're second. They're like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you can do it? They're like, yeah, we'll send you to India. You can like try getting to med school there through the international pathway and like all this stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I just told them straight. I'm like, no, I'm going to go to Auckland. And yeah, my mind was set that I'm going to go to Auckland. And I was like, I feel that I'm in the right grind mindset right now. And I've got the right passion to do my best and make it in.
Awesome. So you packed your bags and off you went up north to Auckland. What is it like for you? Because now, you're back in class. You're basically your fourth year. You're a fourth year student in class with first years. What is that like for you? Was there any? I mean, you obviously you knew what you were there for, but was there any like, oh man, this feels a bit weird for you?
Yeah. So when I was like studying, I was like, oh man, this stuff's dry. It's like pretty boring. Because like first year is more just like memorizing, where I was more used to like the third year knowledge was like conceptual and more abstract ideas. Yeah. I'm not really a memorization person. Yeah. I hate memorizing. That's why I don't really like health sci, because I'm more of a conceptual and abstract person. Yeah. And more of a creative, but memorizing is something that you just have to do in first year. Yeah. You have to like go through flashcards and know everything on the lecture slides. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? I'll just do it. I'll just go through it. I'll just do it because the end outcome is going to be much better, because in 3-4 years time I can go on my clinical placement and then I don't have to memorize. I can do more interactive stuff. So I was like, it's worth it. Just suffer now, study 8 hours a day, study 7 hours a day, study when you're sick, just get the grades and make it.
Oh wow. So you went back to the basic that mentality. Okay, I've got to do the work now. This
I was like,
health sci first year repeat.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, health sci first year repeat, but with a better mindset. Exactly. Way better mindset.
Yeah. So can I ask you a question? So if you were to compare your mindsets in the first go versus the second go, what would you say was the biggest difference for you?
Okay, the biggest difference.
Yeah. So let's go with first mindset. You left school in health sci first year.
Mm-hmm. So the difference would be, right? What would be the difference? The difference I think would be just the focus on self. Yeah. And I realized this in lockdown in Auckland. When I went there, it was level 3 and I was just by myself. and I was going on walks to the garden, like just the garden, Albert Park, and like going to the wharf,
Yeah.
and exploring the America's Cup locations and stuff. So I spent a lot of time with myself. I think that was the first time I wasn't surrounded by a lot of people. I wasn't like texting. I was just by myself. And I was like, wow, all my like closest friends, all my family, they're in Wellington or Dunners, and I'm just by myself, but I'm really enjoying it by myself.
Yeah.
That's when I realized that, damn, how important it is to sometimes take time out for yourself, be your best friend, enjoy your own presence.
Yeah.
And yeah, just that experience of just being by yourself and just like enjoying that too made me believe in myself a lot more and made me want to work on myself a lot more as well.
And that's so profound, because a lot of us in the world live with, we have to be with other people, we have to go out, we have to do these things just because we have to socially connect. If I don't do this, people are going to think negative of me, or there's FOMO galore and stuff like that. But I think, like you said, until you focus on yourself, all the other stuff is just superficial. It's all just superficial. I think, Tana, you've mentioned this before, because you were finding the struggle to actually find time for yourself, that this is an important thing that you're just trying to focus on.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's so difficult to find the time, but I think it's just setting boundaries for yourself. I think you try and set up boundaries in terms of other things, but you don't actually set boundaries for yourself. So I think it's just, as we've said before, find that time. It doesn't have to be as much as you hope for, but you have to be able to willing and able to compromise your time so you get time for yourself, because otherwise you're waking up, going out and doing things for your study or for sports. You're grinding all day, you're coming back, you're doing things with your flatmates, or you're getting social time, and then you go to bed and you realize that you haven't actually taken any time in your day to really do anything for yourself. And that's what's key if you want to, in the long run especially, you want to have that healthy habit.
Yeah, totally. And I'm gonna challenge our listeners out there to actually use the word priority. You prioritize yourself, and actually not just find time, but make the time, because everyone has time. Everyone says, "Oh, we don't have time." Everyone's got 24 hours a day, and it's just how you use your 24 hours to do it. And obviously, you've got to sleep. Sleep is important, but you've got to also make sure that you make that as a priority. The same way that everyone has food, it's a priority. The same way you should look after yourself. That's what I reckon. So amazing insight there. That is I think that's profound right there, DJ. So now you're back in this grind here. Your goal is to get into med school. You're here with all these other first years. You're chilling on the America's Cup waterfront in lockdown.
Yeah.
And then you give it you do your best again. Then what happens?
Yeah, so I do my best again, and yeah, that was one of the aspects of the evolution, enjoying time with yourself and spending time with yourself.
Yeah.
And using that time to reflect. So that was one part of the evolution.
Can I also stop right there, because I think you mentioned something I didn't highlight as well, is you've got to enjoy the time by yourself.
Yes.
Because I think all of us spend time with ourselves, and then we go into this framework of, why am I with myself? Why am I so bored? Why am I so bored? But the fact that you can actually enjoy your time with yourself just creates a whole different persona for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you did that there. And also, sorry, before I'm just going back again. There was also, you went back to India before this started, right? So before you went back to Auckland.
Yeah, India was before third year in Otago.
Okay, all right, cool. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting my years mixed up. Okay, cool. Right.
So India was 2020.
Yep.
January.
Yep.
And Auckland was 2021.
2021. All right, cool. Yeah. Cool. How the years fly. All right, cool. Awesome. So you're enjoying your time with yourself. Then what happens for you?
So yeah, I'm really enjoying my time with myself. And yeah, I also last year I started talking to my grandma a lot. I talked to my grandma a lot because I felt that she was just a really motivational person for me.
Yeah.
And one of the things that she said that really resonated with me, right, was that say good things to yourself. Say good things about yourself. Like, I'm awesome. I'm great. I will do good in this exam. I will get into medicine. Say these things to yourself. Send these positive aspirations to yourself. So first I was like, oh yeah, like, okay, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. But then, right, I heard the same thing in Mike Tyson's podcast.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson, he said, your reality is in your mouth. What you say to yourself, it becomes true. your subconscious is listening. It picks it up. And that's kind of what made Mike Tyson one of the greatest fighters ever. He constantly told himself, I'm the best, I'm the champ. No one can beat me. And that really helped him become the champ, the beast, what he was. And after hearing Mike Tyson say that, I was like, oh, okay, grandma was onto something. If there are these athletes, top high-level athletes that are saying, positive things to themselves in the mirror, and it's working for them, then why not give it a go? Like, it's not a crazy thing to do.
Yeah.
So I started doing that. I started just getting up. So like, my alarm would go off at like 6 a.m. I was like, oh, I want to stay in bed. I'll be like, no, let's go, champ. Come on, champ. Wake up, champ. Let's go, champ. Saying, just talking to myself like that. And every day as I'm walking to the library, as I'm walking to uni, I'm like, I'm the best. I can do this. I'm the champ. Who the champ? I'm the champ. I can do this. And before an exam, I will get these grades. I will get an A+. I will get in. I will be a great doctor. So saying positive things to myself helped me a lot. Helped me. It was insane. It just shifted everything. I was just a lot more confident, a lot more happy. And every time I'd say these things, I'd get like a quick boost.
Yeah. Which is so profound.
It's just crazy. It's like the difference is day and night. At the start, you might feel a bit weird, but over time, as you get used to it, you do start feeling the difference. And not even feeling the difference, you start living the difference. It becomes a reality. So like they say, your reality is in your mouth. Yeah. Like what you say to yourself, it slowly starts manifesting into reality.
And that's so true. I'm a firm believer of language matters. And whatever you tell yourself is what you believe, right? Those words got to come from somewhere, and the universe and your cells believe what you're saying, right? Because the brain doesn't actually know. The brain knows nothing. The brain is just, the brain just is living in the moment. And if you start saying negative things, it's going to believe that. It could be the most ridiculous thing, but it will believe it. So it's awesome that that you took something that your grandmother said to you, hey, give it a go, and you gave it a go. Like a lot of people just laugh at it. We're like, what are you talking? What are you? You're an old lady. What are you talking about? Oh, Mike Tyson. Okay, cool. You paid millions and billions of dollars. You can afford this, but I'm not going to do it because it sounds wacky and crazy. It does sound wacky and crazy, right? This sounds pretty wacky and crazy, but you're like, I don't care about wacky and crazy. I'm going to give it a crack, and it definitely. I see the difference in you. I remember when I saw you last year, and you just said, and your energy was just so, and I was like, I said, whoa, your energy was so different and so vibrant. So I definitely see that happening myself. That's really awesome. So boom, you're now believing in yourself. You're saying these things here. You apply. What happens then? So you obviously apply everywhere.
Yeah. So good mindset. The grades start coming. Even the UCAT, that went really good. I scored like in the really like top 10%.
Oh wow, well done.
Do you know what the crazy thing is? My grandma, she said, write down on the piece of paper what score you want.
Yeah.
Okay, write the score down, and that's the score you're gonna get. And I wrote like a really high score down, and I looked at it every single day. And when the exam came, right, I scored higher than it. I scored way higher.
Oh wow.
So look at me. I'm a person, right, that did the UCAT, did the UMAT, right?
Yeah.
Scored less than 20th percentile. Less than 20th percentile when I didn't believe in myself.
Yeah.
And when I just by saying positive things to myself, believing in myself, having a good mindset, and then using that mindset to grind, I scored in the top 10%. Like, look at that difference. Being someone that scores in the bottom 20 to going and scoring in the top 10.
That is just amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
That is ridiculous. That's fantastic. Mindset matters, right? Mindset matters.
Mindset is everything.
Yeah. That's such a, and the thing is, so many times we read about this and whatever, but it's actually happening, which is so real.
Like it's actually happening. Like I'm just a guy from like Lower Hutt, went to Hutt Valley High School, wasn't like scoring like Hundy's grades or anything, just a normal person.
Yeah. And boom, awesome, cool. So can I ask a question that is what we all talk about mindset and stuff, but what was your trigger for mindset? Because not everyone gets into this realm of mindset, right? Some people don't believe in it and they go, what have you always been interested in, or was it something that you picked up while you were doing something or listening to something or reading?
So I picked it up from my grandma.
Yeah.
Because I just knew that she was a really strong person because she raised like 7 kids by herself.
Oh, wow.
7 kids by herself.
Wow.
So I was like, she's got a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience. And if she's saying that mindset is important, then it must be important. So I took that in. And I also watched Francis Ngannou, a UFC fighter, the heavyweight champion. I watched one of his interviews and just hearing his story, how he started at a sand mine in Africa and then drove across the Sahara Desert, swam across an ocean to get to France.
A better life, right?
Yeah, I was like, he did all of this to get to France to have a chance at a better life. Yeah. He was nothing. He was, in Africa, that's what he said. He was nothing. And he has believed that he could become something. And he just went with his gut feeling and had this crazy journey and trained and became a UFC champ. Someone who had nothing became the UFC champ of the world. Yeah. And just hearing that story made me realize how important mindset is. In his home country, he had nothing, but he had a mindset. He had nothing, but he had a mindset. And that mindset was that he wanted something more. Yeah. He didn't want to just stay in a sand mine. He wanted something more. And that, again, emphasized for me the power of the mindset. And I was like, if Francis Ngannou has been on this crazy journey,
why can't you?
Yeah, why can't I? And all I have to do is just study in New Zealand, where the government's paying for my fees, paying me a student allowance. I've got food, I've got everything. I can catch a flight to Auckland. I've got like an apartment. So, just it puts into perspective that,
totally.
Yeah, everyone does have their own battle, but mindset is everything.
I think that's a great tie to what I said right at the start, that your perspective and your realities.
Yeah.
Everyone's perspective is the reality. So at the start of your journey, your perspective was, I'm not good enough. That became reality.
Yeah.
3 years later, your perspective was like, hey, I'm amazing. This is it. Bring it on. That became reality.
True that. Yeah.
Write that down, everybody. So, so it's pretty important. And I really like that because, when you speak to people, I always tell people, like, if others can do it, why can't you? Like, there's all of us are born exactly the same. Okay, some of us might be born into wealth or whatever, but at the end of the day, we're all just humans.
Mm-hmm.
And if others can do it, why can't you in different ways? So, well, you do your best. So that's pretty. So let's talk about the crowning moment, though. So you're in this amazing mindset. You smashed UCAT. You're the top 10% in the country, whatever it is.
Yeah,
top 10%, whatever they go. You get an offer. You get some offers now.
Yeah. So before I got like the offers, I got a dent interview for dentistry.
Yeah.
So last year I got a dentistry interview, and that's when I saw you last year because I was going for my interview. Yeah, and I was just really hyped. I just took that interview. I wasn't really too sure about dentistry, but I took that interview just for an experience. I just wanted just some practice for my medicine interview in Auckland. And honestly, I just loved Dunedin. I really wanted to go back to Dunedin. I remember just like coming off the shuttle, my heart was actually like beating so hard because I missed Dunedin a lot and I do like it a lot there. So yeah, I got the interview. I was really happy with that. And then just a couple of months later, after doing my interview for Auckland, so I don't know if I got into medicine or dentistry or not, right? But I came to Dunedin for my graduation, my Bachelor of Biomedical Sciences graduation. So I should have graduated in like 2020, but I deferred it for a later year. Why did I do that? I don't know why I did that, but I just did. And first, I wasn't too sure if I should go to Dunedin for my graduation or not because it was cancelled because of COVID.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? I failed my goal in Dunedin first. So when I achieve my goal, I want to be back in Dunedin. I want some revenge. So I don't know if I'd made it into medicine or not, but I'd got the email from the university. I was like, ooh, okay. I want to be in Dunedin when I check the email. So I went to Dunedin. It was really cool. I graduated. My mom and dad, my brother were there. And yeah, just graduating was just really beautiful. And then I showed my mom and dad like our flat in Dunedin where it used to be. I showed them around the boat hands. We drove up the Baldwin Street,
Yeah.
drove around the peninsula a bit. Then we just came home in the evening. Oh, we also went to Tunnel Beach. Tunnel Beach is really cool as well. And then, yeah, we just got back to our Airbnb. And I was like, okay, we've had a lot of fun now. Now it's time to check the email.
Yeah.
So I just remember I was in front of the window, just like looking at St. Clair Beach. Sun was setting. And then I just opened the email and it's like, yo, you got in. And at that moment, I just felt like just relaxed. I wasn't really happy or anything. I was just real relaxed. I was like, oh, I can relax now. I can breathe now. And then my parents were there. So I remembered back to my first year in Dunners when I called my mum before exams. And I was like, Mum, I'm not going to make it. So I told my mum, I was like, oh, Mum, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to study medicine this year. She's like, oh, yeah, good. Yeah, say good things to yourself, good positive aspirations. I was like, no, Mum, I'm going to be in medicine.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. Then all of us, we started crying. Yeah.
Oh, wow,
and like did a group hug.
Oh, fantastic. What a moment. What a moment. What a journey.
Yeah.
And this is where you are now. This is it. You've now realized it.
Yeah. And now, we're here. We're in medicine doing online learning until April.
Yeah. Brilliant. What a fascinating journey, from where you were, and fascinating, not academically, but the awareness that has changed throughout, academics, and I want to like to speak about is your story. It's so fascinating because your mindset shifted.
Yes.
And the fact that you were aware of, you, like you said, you called your mom to say, hey, I'm not going to make it. You were aware of that. You were so aware of it. But then 3 years later, 4 years later, actually, I'm going to make it. I am going to make it. This is it. You put the score up and that was it. So profound right there.
Yeah. And like looking back at it, I would not change anything, nothing at all.
Yeah. Because
it was really important for me to get my ass kicked a couple of times so I could like learn about reflecting. Yeah. And just learning about reflecting and just improving and having the mindset that I have right now. It's really important for me to just grow as a person. Yeah.
And like they say, you only grow when you fail.
Yeah.
If you don't fail, you never grow because you're just comfortable, right? You're just always in your comfort zone. Yeah. And Tanya, I'm sure you're also seeing a shifting in your mindset as you have progressed through your years at university.
Yeah, 100%, especially around academics. You come down here and you want to study, and that's important, but it's also realizing that you're down here to learn more about yourself and learn about who you are as a person, what you're passionate about. And I think we often don't focus on that. We often focus on the study and the degree at the end of it, and that's cool and that is important. But learning about yourself and what you want to take through life, I think that's where the true learning comes. Regardless of whether you get good grades, whether you get your degree or not, it's about finding yourself while you're still young, while you're learning, and while you're willing to adapt. Because when you get older, you're less likely wanting to adapt and wanting to change yourself to be the better version of yourself.
Yeah, let's hope you're not true there, Tana, because I'm a little bit older and I'm trying to adapt as well. Let's hope you're not true there. Awesome. We've been talking for an hour. I mean, I can't believe how this hour has just flown.
That was fast.
That is fantastic. Your story really resonates with me on so many levels. And I think, one of the levels the mindset stuff, but also the connection. You spoke about friends, which friends are always around. So friends are around, but they come and go. But your family, that connection that you have with your family was what shifted you. And I think, for anybody out there, I don't know what your family situations are, but there are people in your lives that are very important to connect and will always be there for you no matter what. So find those people or reconnect with those people, wherever they are. Yeah. So I think we should probably wrap up the podcast. And the way we like to wrap up our podcast is, our podcast is called The Baskets of Knowledge. And what wise words would you like to share to our listeners? I mean, this whole podcast is full of wisdom, but is there any one thing that stands out for you in your experience that you go, hey, that guys or girls or whoever's listening?
Yeah, so just based on my own experiences, what I feel I can share is that give things a go. If there's someone older than you or someone that's got some wisdom or anything, if they're giving you some advice, just try it out. Try it out to see if it works. And just something that worked for me was just positive aspirations, saying positive things to yourself, and just spending some time with myself as well. So yeah, give that a go and yeah, see if it works for you because it did for me.
Yeah. Also, listen to that. There's a quote out there that people that have when you see someone that's successful, go and speak to them and see what they've done. And success can be anything, right? And if
Yeah.
their mindset or whatever works, why it should work for you. So, like you said, seek those out, speak to those older people, but also have time with yourself and enjoy that time with
Yes.
yourself.
Yes, have time with yourself. Like, even though you can get advice from like other people, you don't have to follow it, but you can internalize it, interpret it, and perceive it as you want to perceive it,
Yeah.
and turn that advice into something that works for you. So
Yeah.
just because Mike Tyson's saying something doesn't mean that you have to follow it exactly like he's saying to follow it.
Yeah.
Or if Joe Rogan's saying something, you don't have to do exactly what he's doing, but you can change it and cater it towards your own needs.
Yeah.
So yeah, focus on your own needs and your own experiences and what you want to achieve. And then take the advice from this podcast or other episodes and just adapt it to yourself and your needs.
That is a fantastic way to end. Adapt it to your needs, but always grow forward. Always think we're growing forward. Dhananjay, this is a fantastic podcast. Thank you so much for jumping on. Tana, anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
No, it's just awesome to hear DJ's journey and seeing that he stuck at it. It's easy to change your mindset or change your goals, and he was willing to adapt. And I think that's the important thing to take away, as well as all the other wisdom that he shared today. So thank you, DJ.
Thank you. Kia ora.
Yeah, kia ora. Thanks for being on it with us. So for our listeners out there, thank you for listening. And as always, feel free to like, comment, share, talk about this. Feel free to drop us a comment. Without you, this podcast doesn't happen. So thank you very much. And as always, before we end, remember to always try to find one way to put some knowledge into your basket. Till we speak next time. Bye, everybody.